Good morning, Douglas School. This is Radio Douglas.
Good morning. Your announcers for today are Dr. Whitbeck, Mrs. Lorenica, and we have the Schmidt family for Science Wednesday. The official Douglas time this morning is 8:30, and today is Wednesday, April 15th.
We wish a hearty happy birthday to Blake Sherman. Good morning, Doug. Happy birthday, Blake.
Happy birthday, Blake. I really like your choice for opening music this morning, Doc.
Thank you very much. That's for all the people in New Jersey.
Or born and bred in New Jersey, perhaps.
Or born and bred in New Jersey. Or Mrs. Johnston, whichever comes first. Welcome to the Creative Kids segment of our Radio Douglas program. The April 15th version. We know it's Wednesday because science. Are we ready? Are we ready for some science? Oh, there is Elizabeth. Do we need to know anything, Elizabeth?
What's it called?
Elephant's toothpaste.
That's excellent, because even in these times of pandemic, elephants have to practice safe hygiene. So here we go. Let's see what happens.
Hi, it's Elizabeth. Today we're making elephant's toothpaste. You will need hydrogen peroxide. That's very dangerous. Make sure to have gloves and maybe even these. Dish soap, food dye, and a saturated solution made up of sodium iodide crystals and water. Saturated means dissolved substance that volume can as much that the volume can hold. First, we're going to do about 80. Fill this to about 80. And then we're going to do a few drops of dish soap. Then we add food dye. Then mix. For this part, use safety glasses. Take a beaker of a size, pour in your hydrogen peroxide solution. Next, as quickly as you can, pour in your saturated solution to watch it do this. Ta-da!
Wow.
It's really warm, even through the gloves. It does this because the chemical reaction between this is oxygen and water, 2 oxygens, 2 water, and then this is basically sodium iodide, which is salt, and they make a chemical reaction that just goes.
That was awesome. What a great explanation.
Yeah, we are getting so scientific here with the instruments and the hydrogen peroxide, and it looked like it created a stiff foam. Is that like different than you would get when you do the vinegar and baking soda, which just is not stiff? This looked like it was like kind of more foamier, more hard.
It happens because the hydrogen peroxide breaks down into water and oxygen gas, and the oxygen gas bubbles through the soap to make the foam.
Oh, so it wouldn't work without the soap.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. That
But
makes
afterwards, it did look a lot like a meringue pie after it had sat chance to settle.
Yeah.
His fingertips left these stiff peaks in it. So
Yeah. Yeah, not edible though.
no, no.
Not at all. No.
I really appreciate the safety aspect of the goggles and the gloves and the jacket. It looks like you were ready for anything because that looked like it could have just even gone even further over.
Yeah. But you did it outside just because of the messiness factor of it, right? Not because it made some poisonous gas.
Yeah.
Just oxygen.
Yep. Although, oh yeah,
If there was
more
bigger,
concentrated.
yeah, more concentrated hydrogen peroxide, it would blow up. But we could only get 12%.
Good. I think avoiding blowing up is always the bonus.
Mrs. Lorenaga is not a fan of things blowing up.
Nope.
At home or at school. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was very cool. Where did you get the sodium iodide? Was that just lying around your house?
Amazon. I had it for a school science experiment for when I was Scientist of the Week, and I had done this one, so I had all the tools and everything, so I just did it.
All right. Thank you. And do you have something in mind already for next week? Are you coming back? All right. Excellent.
Science Wednesday with the Schmitz.
Science Wednesday. All right, let's see what else we've got. We had some other science going on around town. Maggie used the app iNaturalist to identify some berries she found, and they turned out to be partridge berries. I have never heard of iNaturalist. I want to download it now and go out and identify some plants or berries. She fed them to Addie, then fed them to some birds. So I guess there's some type of bird that eats partridge berries. I wonder if it is grouse. We estimated how many boards were used on the boardwalk and counted along the way too. So some math and science.
We're still seeing the berry photo.
Yeah, there's no photo of the.
Got it.
You have to imagine the boardwalk.
Okay.
All right.
Ready? Imagine. Got it.
And then Luke, in Mrs. Breslin's class, put out a birdhouse that he made to feed the birds. He had a great idea to have each family member make a guess about how many birds would visit the feeder in a week and also how many kinds of birds would visit. Then he would make a graph of information, and they're going to try to rig up a nature camera to keep track of who visits every day. So I look forward to seeing the graphs.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to collect data and be mathematical.
Yeah, love it.
Cool.
And now moving out of the science realm, although could be food science. If you are at Douglas School on Wednesday mornings, you can smell the beautiful smells of waffles and bacons that are served at Breakfast Club every Wednesday. So it's Waffle Wednesday as well as Science Wednesday. And Avery and Luke are doing Waffle Wednesday at home as we speak. Good
That
job.
makes me want to get out my bowl and my mix and go make some.
All right. Could be Waffle Wednesday at everybody's house.
Right. We're going to come inspect. No, we're not.
The Fitzgeralds had dress up day. Over on the right, we have Cinderella. And then center, we have Mal from The Descendants, one of my favorite movies. And Stitch, as well as some reading with one of the kiddies. I asked where mom and dad's costumes were. And they have not answered me.
That's a fun way to do homeschooling. Get in a costume.
Yeah. I'm going to put on my Captain America costume and maybe do Radio Douglas tomorrow.
Oh, I definitely think that you should. That is essential now. Radio Douglas with Captain America first thing tomorrow. It's on, folks. It's here first.
Eric just did some fantastic creations with recycling.
Oh my gosh. Look at those goggles.
the goggles and the binoculars, and look at the detail on the red cup squid or monster, and the eyes and the teeth and the
Wow.
antenna. It's just a great job, Eric. Mrs. Gould, our art teacher, also saw this and commented on them, and she noticed just so much more than you and I are able to talk about. So he did a great job. Nice work, Eric. Casa in Mrs. Ritter's class made this bag out of her dad's old T-shirt.
Wow, that is pretty creative right there.
Yeah, used his T-shirt and scissors and sewed it and made herself a bag. Hopefully, he wasn't wearing it at the time.
I can only imagine all the things that our kids are learning throughout this that they wouldn't otherwise be doing. It's pretty amazing to see all these things. Keep sending them in.
Yesterday's mystery reader was Avery M. It's so hard when we have students because, there are only 450 of them at Douglas School. And naming them by voice is almost impossible. So if you got that and your name is not Avery M., you did a great job. Let's see if you can identify today's reader. Nope. Let's go back.
True friend is a treasure. She gives you all the pleasure. She stands by you when you need her the most. She holds your hand on the coast. True friends are always there for you. I'm glad I have my friend in you. Thank you.
And I think that's an original poem. So you may be able to identify that mystery reader.
I don't know.
Stay tuned and we'll tell you who Wednesday's mystery reader is tomorrow. So, a little this day in history. I think we said yesterday that the Titanic hit an iceberg at 11:40 off Newfoundland. And Mrs. Fitzgerald sent me the following Acton connection to the Titanic. Caroline Lamson Brown lived in Acton in what is now Sager Animal Hospital on Strawberry Hill. She was on the Titanic. She made the trip to England for a funeral without her husband and children, and was, I was going to say flying back, was sailing back on the ship. The sisters, she and her sister made friends with Edith Corth Evans and Colonel Archibald Gracie. And then the ship hit the iceberg on April 14th. And when the ship was sinking, Colonel Gracie guided the women to lifeboats. But in the chaos, Caroline lost her sister. There was only room for one woman on the lifeboat that was left, and Edith Evans gave her seat to Caroline because she had children at home.
Wow.
Yep, so Caroline Lamson Brown made it to the Carpathia, which picked up hundreds of Titanic passengers, saved them, including her sister, who made it onto a different lifeboat. But Edith, however, was never seen again.
Wow, that is an interesting story.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Little Acton connection right here. So, congratulations to Caroline, and we are sad for all the other people who did not make it. This day in history, one of my favorite things, the first permanent residential telephone was installed right here, not in Acton, but between Boston and Somerville at the Charles William Jr. House in Somerville. You can still see the house today. You might ask, why did Charles William Jr. have a telephone? Well, he owned and made telegraphs in Boston at his shop at 109 Court Street in Boston. And he just decided that he was going to put a telephone in his house so that he could easily call his shop.
Wow, I had no idea that Somerville was home to something so incredible.
Right? Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, probably driven by that house 100 times. Never knew.
Yesterday's trivia question, what type of fish was Nemo? Well, he was a clownfish.
And we tried to trick you. because that wasn't Nemo in the photo.
No, we had Dory in the
Yeah.
picture.
Did we get you?
You got me.
Today's trivia question is, what is the Cannonball Run? Who recently broke the record and what was the time?
Wow.
Mhm.
That's really specific, Mrs. Lareniga.
Well, because if you check it out, it's really interesting what just happened and how it happened and why it happened. So
Was it Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.?
nope, and it wasn't Burt Reynolds.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Hmm.
we'll have to come back tomorrow now.
Yes, you will. Absolutely.
So much to learn. All right. Well, that ends our creative kids segment and our science segment. And the Schmidts are waving goodbye. But before they do, something entirely thought-provoking. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light.
Boom.
So keep focused. Have a weightless, wakeful, waterproof Wednesday.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.